Aside from being a source of local gossip, Sari-sari stores for many Filipinos ultimately become a place where one can usually find ingredients you forgot to purchase from the supermarket, but badly need to whip up a gastronomically soothing meal to impress family and friends. A study conducted by Packworks on Sari-sari stores, though, shows much more about our friendly neighborhood outlet. In fact, in their study, they found out that the sales of Sari-sari stores are actually not directly driven by inflation. As such, small business ventures are much more resilient than what many thought. Sari-sari stores, in a nutshell, according to the study conducted by Packworks, actually become a lifeline for Filipinos who are struggling to make ends meet with the country's inflation situation. And to let us learn more about Sari-sari stores, we have with us tonight Andoy Montiel, Chief Data Officer of Packworks. Good evening, Andoy. Thank you so much for coming to Up Close.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, what exactly is Packworks? How did it begin? And what exactly is your initial goal?
Okay. We started at around 2017. Our initial goal was actually to serve larger organizations. It's quite ironic that now we serve the smallest of the smallest organizations. Right? But our initial form was to serve larger companies and help them with their needs, such as, for example, ERPs, or helping them sell things, helping them with their inventory, that kind of things. But when one of our founders traveled actually across the Philippines and engaged with Sari-sari stores, he noticed that the same problems that these large organizations have are also very applicable to these smaller Sari-sari stores, and that these smaller Sari-sari stores can also benefit from the same technology, same methods, same processes as these larger organizations. Right? So with that, we started making applications, mobile applications, to make the technology more accessible to Sari-sari stores.
Wait, when you say ERPs, what exactly do you mean by that?
Thank you. ERPs, Enterprise Resource Planning Software, these help large organizations manage their inventory, manage their sales, very similar to how Sari-sari stores would use a ball pen, a notebook, and a calculator. For them, for so many decades, that has been their ERP. That is how they manage their store. Now, we bring them the technology that larger organizations have, wherein they can track their sales. They can easily total. Let's say if someone buys one carton of milk, 1 dozen eggs, the application automatically totals that for them, so that with the deluge of people coming in their store, they can easily see how much they will charge the customer and how much their change will be.
So would you say that Packworks' focus right now is more on Sari-sari stores and not much on bigger ventures?
Yes.
And if so, why?
We saw the need of these Sari-sari stores. We're in one across the Philippines. There are Sari-sari stores across my house, actually, just 20 steps away. There are 1, 2, 3 Sari-sari stores. And when I say 3, like, they're just beside each other. Right? With that experience, we saw that an opportunity to help the Filipinos, the consumers that we have here in the Philippines, the ones who are heavily dependent on these stores for their daily needs.
Okay, and it's quite funny when you mention that you see Sari-sari stores in your neighborhood, and sometimes they have conflicting names.
Yes.
You know, like, mas masarap dito. Hindi, wag mo pansinin yung katabi. You know, stuff like that. But anyway, it's just a little joke that we see anywhere. But so you mentioned you have business tools to help Sari-sari stores, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How would you explain to, I would say, the everyday person what exactly your intelligence tool, Sari IQ, helps? How does it help Sari-sari store owners and retailers make, as you mentioned earlier, decisions that are based on statistics or data that you come up with?
Thank you. Good question. Our tool, actually, Sari IQ, helps both Sari-sari stores and the larger companies that provide them the goods. At one end of the spectrum, the Sari-sari stores, they typically see, though, what is needed or what they sell just within their barangay. Right? Through our tool, we help them understand what are the needs in their neighboring areas. Right? Because sometimes they see, for example, in one area, what is normally being sold is, let's say, canned corned beef. However, if you look, though, actually across the neighboring barangays, what is actually, let's say, high velocity in terms of sales are milk or coffee. Helping these Sari-sari stores know what is actually in demand in other organizations, in other places, helps them see, wait, I think I might actually earn more if I make those things available in my store. That's one. Two, there's also the predictive things. Right? We can tell them, okay, you have an upcoming fiesta. Right? During fiesta, these are likely the things that would be in demand in your area. So that's one end of the spectrum. At the same time, we also help Sari-sari stores by giving intelligence to the larger organizations, to the manufacturers of goods, telling them, okay, in this area, there is a high demand, let's say for powdered coffee. Perhaps you may want to deliver more powdered coffee in that area. So that from a planning perspective, the stores, the Sari-sari stores, do not run out of supplies. So we help them through by coordinating or giving intelligence to both ends of that cycle.
So you help link the goods, the needed goods, in the areas that need it the most as well. And you mentioned earlier it's through an app. The owners of Sari-sari stores need to download an app and then be able to perhaps tally their sales.
Yes, ma'am. So there are. So we have two users of the application. One we call the mega stores. Normally each barangay has what's called a mega store, where it's still a Sari-sari store, but they can sell actually things in wholesale. They have, the application is installed on a tablet, and then you have a barcode scanner and then a printer. So whenever someone buys anything, you just scan it. No need to input, no need to compute everything. You just scan it, scan it, scan it. The application automatically computes how much the total of those goods are, and then input how much money the customer paid, and then it computes already how much the change is. All of those things happen in the blink of an eye. At the other end of the users as well, still within our network, are the smaller Sari-sari stores. We call them micro stores. They also then use the app by getting, let's say, discounts or promos, for example, so that if they buy, let's say, 3 packs of milk, they get either 10 pesos free. So they get promos by being part of that network.
Okay, so let's talk about the findings of the year-end Sari IQ report. Tell us about it, Andoy.
Thank you. So there are 3 main findings from the Sari IQ report. One, we call them, whenever there is a gathering, Sari-sari stores are always there with you. 2, Sari-sari stores fulfill the need of the last mile. Again, I'll explain that in one. And the last portion is that Sari-sari stores are becoming the community pantry. So one, first, whenever there is a gathering, Sari-sari stores are there, in the sense that we notice the trends. Normally, growth happens whenever there is a large event, so they call it seasonalities. For example, the top sales are both Holy Week and Christmas. So those are the top sales throughout the year. 2022 showed that, 2023 as well showed that. Something though actually was significant that happened in 2023. Starting in 2023, during the Halloween period, there was a growing spike that was not present in 2022. Our analysis shows that this is most likely because of the fact that people are now allowed to go to cemeteries and gather. Again, whenever there is a community gathering, Sari-sari stores are there, sales increase. So that's the first finding. Second finding as well is that Sari-sari stores serve as the last mile, or fulfiller of the last mile in terms of delivery of goods. Especially in areas, suburban, rural, and agricultural areas, where it's very, very difficult to get your goods to the smaller Sari-sari stores, some that are closer to barangays, to streets. There are bagsakans, lead stores, wherein distributors, the manufacturers of goods, give the goods to these larger stores, and it is these larger stores who, through sidecars, through bicycles, sometimes deliver the goods to the smaller stores. So they fulfill that last mile need. The last bit
sorry, just to interject really quickly. I think what also helps the average Filipino be able to get their last bit of grocery shopping is the fact that we have a sachet economy.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And it is actually the sachet economy that is seen through the last point, which is
right.
Sari-sari stores are your community pantry. Right? Normally, like for example, for me, I buy from the grocery. I buy a bottle of shampoo, a pack of hot dogs. In Sari-sari stores, we see there people buy the sachet economy. When people need to take a bath, then they buy a sachet of shampoo or a small bar of soap. That's where they buy their detergents. That's where they buy coffee. Not by the gallon, not by the big container, but those small packs. So it is this portion wherein people see Sari-sari stores as their community pantry. When they need something, traditionally, for example, for us, when we need something, we go to the pantry at our house. For a large number of communities that these Sari-sari stores serve, if the people there need anything, they go to their Sari-sari store because they see, okay, I need soap, I know it's in my Sari-sari store, rather than stocking up those goods in their house.
Okay, so from what you told me right now, Andoy, it's basically saying that the growth or the sales of Sari-sari stores are highly dependent on the occasions that happen in the country.
Yes.
And not so much as what previous studies have shown that it is severely affected by inflation. Can you tell us more about that?
It's a very good point. A number of these stores are, the growth of the sales of these stores are very seasonal. Yes, inflation does have an impact on these Sari-sari stores. Without a doubt, the prices of their goods and the goods that they sell are impacted by inflation. Actually, we talked to one store and he said he doesn't put the price anymore of the goods because almost every week that price changes whenever someone delivers goods to the store. But despite all that fact, they are still able to sell, and the growth of sales is still impacted by not by inflation, but whenever there is an event. So for example, when there is a fiesta, when there is Christmas. One of the neat findings, though, that for me I'm always elated to share is that one of the things that we found out during Christmas on December 24 and December 31, the top sales is cream. It's not 2 days before, it's not 3 days before, it's not the week before, it's always right before Christmas and right before New Year. That is why we always have fruit salad, potato salad, carbonara. All of these things need cream, and Filipinos buy that just on the day before they prepare it.
Okay, wow, yeah, I think I'm guilty of that, to be honest. Okay, we have said many times over that these mom and pop stores, these Sari-sari stores, are considered as the grassroots of our economy. Do you believe that? And you've also mentioned earlier, as we were talking, that Packworks actually services about 270,000 of these Sari-sari stores. Tell us how you're able to help empower them apart from the app, and why you think that Sari-sari stores are indeed the grassroots of our economy.
So we have 270,000 Sari-sari stores in our network, which is approximately 20% of total Sari-sari stores here in the Philippines. By our estimates, there are approximately 1.3 million Sari-sari stores in our country across all of the regions. And when we say the grassroots, normally when you say grassroots, it is the consumer, it is the buyer who drives what happens to the top. So in these markets, the larger manufacturers listen through the Sari-sari stores, through the demands of the Sari-sari stores, what they will manufacture. That's why we have seen a number of goods being repacked into smaller things so that it can fulfill that community pantry role of these Sari-sari stores in their neighborhoods.
And I think it's also very important to emphasize, that it's also part of our cultural being as Filipinos. The Sari-sari store, the ubiquitous Sari-sari store, is always going to be there, and it's part of us. It's part of our culture. Yeah.
Yes. So, like you mentioned earlier, that's where people normally get their gossip.
Yes.
That's why one of the highest sales is normally alcoholic drinks and
that's
cigarettes.
where Marites hangs out.
Yes, that's where she hangs out.
Okay, so last but not the least, Andoy, we are very curious to know, are you also planning to help other business ventures in the future? Say, for example, online sellers, or maybe even the informal wet market sellers?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because from what we've seen, there are still a lot of gaps, a lot of challenges that these Sari-sari stores experience, and we feel that we can fulfill them. For example, inventory financing. They don't have that much capital, so we will be giving them loans for goods, not money, but for goods, so that they can actually stock up on their store and then sell it. We also have one project, it's called Sari-link, when we were able to deploy through the help of Help.NGO and Starlink to provide them with connectivity through internet. So there are still lots of things that we can help these Sari-sari stores with. We're going to be focusing on them for quite a while.
Thank you very much. We are very excited to hear all about Packworks' developments and its impact on Sari-sari stores in the future. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.